Welcome to our channel and thank you for joining us. Today, we have a truly inspiring and heartwarming story to share with you. This is the story of John, a retired Army veteran, and Buddy, a young dog from an animal shelter. Together, they formed a bond that would change both of their lives forever. From the moment they met, John knew that Buddy was special and that he would be the missing piece in his life. But their journey together was not an easy one, and it would take a tragic accident for them to realize the true depth of their bond. Get ready to be moved and touched by this incredible story of love, loyalty, and the unbreakable bond between a man and his dog. So, sit back, relax, and let's begin our journey together. John was a retired Army veteran who had served his country for over 20 years. He had seen and experienced things that most people could only imagine, and as a result, he had a hard time adjusting to civilian life. He felt disconnected and alone, and he couldn't shake the feeling that something was missing. One day, while out on a walk, John stumbled upon an animal shelter. He had always loved animals, and something about the shelter called to him. As he walked through the rows of cages, one particular dog caught his eye. The dog was a young Labrador Retriever mix with a scruffy coat and sad brown eyes. Something about the dog's demeanor touched John's heart, and he knew that he had to take him home. John filled out the necessary paperwork and soon he was on his way home with his new companion. The dog was skittish and nervous at first, but John was patient with it. He spent hours talking to the dog, and slowly but surely, the dog began to open up. He started to wag his tail and even let out a few happy barks. John felt a sense of joy and purpose that he hadn't felt in a long time. He named the dog Buddy, and the two of them quickly formed a strong bond. Buddy settled into his new home quickly and became a beloved member of the family. He was always by John's side, and the two of them went on many adventures together. They went hiking in the mountains, fishing in the streams, and even took a trip to the beach. John was amazed at how much happiness this little dog brought into his life. But one day, tragedy struck. John was driving home from a friend's house when he was involved in a car accident. He hit his head and fell into a coma. His family rushed him to the hospital, and he was put on life support. The doctors were not optimistic about his chances of recovery. Buddy was inconsolable. He refused to leave John's side and spent every moment at the hospital. He lay by John's bedside and licked his face, as if trying to wake him up. The family was touched by the dog's loyalty and devotion. They couldn't bear the thought of Buddy being alone, so they decided to take him home with them. 2 years passed, and John remained in a coma. His family had grown resigned to the fact that he would never wake up. The medical bills had piled up, and they were struggling to keep up with the costs. They made the difficult decision to remove John from life support. But when they tried to do so, Buddy became very aggressive. He barked and growled, and the family was forced to back off. They didn't know what to do. They couldn't leave John on life support forever, but they couldn't bring themselves to take him off either. 2 weeks later, something miraculous happened. John opened his eyes. He was weak and disoriented, but he was alive. The family was in shock and couldn't believe their eyes. They realized that Buddy had known something that they didn't. He had sensed that John would wake up, and he had protected him until that moment. John's recovery was slow, but he was determined to get better. He had a lot of physical therapy to go through, but he was determined to walk again. And with Buddy by his side, he knew he could do it. As we come to the end of this heartwarming story of John and Buddy, it is important to remember that dogs have incredibly heightened senses that allow them to pick up on things that we may not be able to. In this case, Buddy knew that John would wake up from his coma, even when the doctors and family had lost hope. This is just one example of how our furry companions can be our greatest allies and protectors. So, let's take a moment to appreciate the amazing senses of our dogs and the unbreakable bond that we share with them. Thank you for watching, and we hope you enjoyed this story of John and Buddy's special bond. We hope you enjoyed hearing Buddy's story as much as we enjoyed telling it. If you love this heartwarming tale and want to see more like it, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We have plenty more stories of animals who have overcome adversity and found their happily ever after, and we can't wait to share them with you. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to share this video with your friends and family. See you in the next one.